Count them up!
From Raleigh to Chapel Hill as we take a look at the North Carolina Tar Heels. Over under win total at FanDuel Sportsbook, where you can make every moment more of 7.5. Over -115, under -105. Danny, what do you think your boy Mack Brown has in store for the upcoming season?
Buy them high and sell them. No, sell them high, buy them low. Thank you. Day Trade and Danny just had a blank. I mean, it's out of season. I haven't been trading.
That's why he's on the show now and not Day Trade.
Exactly. You got to get back in there. I think this is a buy low. I think the expectations are low for Carolina. I'm on the over. Anybody notice Mack Brown a little surly out there at ACC Media Days, calling out other coaches, recruiting against them? I think this team's coming in with an edge. I don't think many people are counting on them, but I did go through the schedule. Now, I am giving them a dub at Minnesota to start the season, which may be a little bit risky. I know there's questions about quarterback, who it's going to be, but I don't think there's questions about who they're going to be handing the ball to. And Amarian Hampton, who I think is a really solid back, clearly one of those ones that was pretty solid for them to be able to keep. The butcher on the defensive side of the ball, Kamen Rucker, coming back for another year. I think he's one of the better backers in the ACC. And I'm trusting some of the younger talent to step up, and the defense cannot get any worse. I feel like we've been saying that for a couple years, but I do think the defense should take a step forward with Jeff Collins, who may be one of those coaches who's a really good defensive coordinator and maybe just not a great head coach. I think we'll see improvements on the defensive side of the ball. So I'm on the over. I promise unders are coming because this is 3 overs in a row for me. But I'm over on the Tar Heels.
Mack Brown was surly at ACC Media Days, but he won't be at ACC Media Days next year.
Whoa!
North Carolina is going under. I'm not buying low. I'm just not buying at all.
Short selling them.
Listen, I could go into detail, but I will just say that the last however many years North Carolina's had first-round quarterbacks. Last year they had a top 5 quarterback, and they couldn't win games. And now they've got, Max Johnson coming in.
They couldn't win games in November. They could not win games at the end of the year.
Yeah. But now you've got Max Johnson coming in, who, no offense to Max Johnson, he's not Drake May. He's not nearly as good. He's not nearly as mobile, too. And I look at this offensive line. I don't think it's very good. That's one of Drake May's biggest problems that he had last season. He's running for his life. He never had time, and he doesn't have a running back who can block for him. And Omarion Hampton's not suddenly going to turn into a good blocker, and you're going to need him to be a blocker more with Max Johnson back there. The defense can't get worse. Doesn't mean it can get better. So I just look at this team. I look at the schedule. This is a 7-5 team to me. I do not think the Tar Heels are going to be good this year.
I'm really right there with Tom. I don't know if Mack Brown's going to retire. I think part of that is just what does Carolina want their program to be? But Reese Davis has a saying: if you're not good enough, losses will find you. And I feel like the reason why I want to bet over here is the schedule, not the team. And if there's any team out there that is untrustworthy as a favorite or a substantial favorite, it's North Carolina. I mean, they lose multiple games a year as 2-touchdown or more favorites. Mack does not have these guys prepared. The letdowns are ridiculous. So there's no reason for me to trust that they're going to cash in what is really a pillow schedule. It should be a great landing for them after losing Drake May. But are they going to be ready to play consistently? I've seen no evidence of that there in Chapel Hill.
Do you buy into some of the criticisms that Mack Brown has offered, not directly calling out Gene Chizik, but basically discussing one of the reasons why they've had these late collapses is that they haven't been playing deep into their depth chart. They haven't been playing enough guys, and that even though they've been recruiting at a high level, they were so intent on just keeping those guys in the game that's why we've seen 5-0, 6-0, 6-1, 5-1. And then all of a sudden that's when you blow it to Georgia Tech, when you blow it to Virginia. When you lose these games late, oftentimes they are happening because of a way that is an approach that has been decided on in September and October. Mack Brown says that Jeff Collins, and one of the reasons he hired him, was to try to get more in line with being a team that was deeper, but also a deeper team in terms of just playing more bodies. Or is that the kind of approach that would change your expectation in terms of the way that they perform later in the year?
No, I think it's a totally backfit narrative and not really something that I'm going to buy into. And here's why. They played the South Carolina team where the offensive line was a train wreck. They're going to beat that team regardless of when they play them, in my opinion, right? Then they App took them to overtime. So, like what was the reason App dropped 34 on you? I don't know. Minnesota's quarterback was hurt. Pitt's quarterback was hurt. Syracuse's quarterback was hurt by that point, correct? Miami, they played extremely well in a shootout, so the defense didn't do anything there. UVA dropped 31 on them. We're still in October and beat them. Georgia Tech scored 46. So I'm not seeing a defensive collapse. I'm seeing like some actual competency from some of the offenses they played in November, whereas they played a bunch of backup quarterbacks in September and October. So I think that's just nonsense, like narrative stuff.
They stunk last year and they lost Drake May. That's really how you can summarize the whole thing.
9-3. No, I'm just kidding.
Dunks.
Over. I'll give you Charlotte, North Carolina Central, James Madison, Pitt, Virginia, Wake Forest, and Boston College. That's 7. That is 7 with a win total of 7.5. So can you go get me one more of Minnesota, Duke, Georgia Tech, and NC State? Can you get me one of those? I do think they can get one of those. So I think that this is a situation where North Carolina is going to be able to rack up enough and put enough in the bank that getting to 8-4 will be a pretty good season. So I'm going to go over that total right there.